In this week's Torah portion of Vayetze, we're exposed to one of the most amazing selfless acts done by someone in the history of the Jewish people. And that is that Rachel was ready to marry Jacob. Yaakov worked for 7 years to marry her. And on wedding night, her father Lavan, her and Jacob knew that he's a shisty, trickster kind of guy, and he's going to try to marry off Leah, the older daughter, instead. So Jacob and Rachel, they have codes for each other that under the chuppah they would be able to exchange to know that they were each other. Rachel knew this was potentially a very embarrassing moment for Leah when she was under the chuppah with Jacob, and she had to make a massive selfless act. Do I want to give up being the wife of the great Jacob, Yaakov, and be the mother of the tribes? Or should I not embarrass my sister and let her be able to marry Jacob? And we know the story goes that she gave the codes. So when I was thinking about the concept of embarrassment, how we apply it to our lives, a takeaway that we could all have, and we see the importance of not embarrassing someone. I find that the greatest challenge is that someone we don't really know so well, so sometimes we're more careful not to embarrass them. We're more sensitive. But yet someone that we are close with, our spouse, our good friends, our children, it's much easier to say whatever we want because we're so close with them, but yet at the same time, the impact of embarrassment is felt so much more acutely by them. And the reason being is that if you're embarrassed by someone that you care about, it means more. If some random stranger embarrasses you, yeah, it's embarrassing, but if my husband embarrasses me, if my father embarrasses me, if my good friend embarrasses me, and also one of my good friends here at Jet, when we had this class, we discussed this, he brought up the point is that sometimes someone close to you also knows some of your flaws. They know you well. So it could hurt that much more. So I think we find ourselves, first of all, to take away from this, that because we're close with someone and we could be very easy to say things to them, we do run the risk that we could say something that embarrasses them, but also to realize that it hurts them so much more. And we find this with our spouse and also thinking about for our children. If we yell at them or reprimand them or make them feel guilty, it's not that they're just going to take a look at us and say, oh, my father, he's being mean, I'm so sad, crying, but rather also to realize that they are human beings. And that when we make them feel guilty, make them feel bad, it's embarrassing them. And not only that, it's my father, my superhero dad, my superhero mom, who they look up to so much, that has a very detrimental effect on them. But we should realize that God gave us these children as our children. No one else, us. He chose us to be their parents, and we could do it. So I think if we just take a moment to think about, first of all, it's very easy to embarrass them because we're so comfortable with them. At the same time, it hurts them that much more because they know who it comes from. We could do it, and just have that thought as we head into the Shabbat weekend. I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and a wonderful week.